Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Nexoya office. For some of you, it's the first time, some already know it. And also welcome to our first edition of our Nexoya Breakfast Club. So this is a new format that we're trying out. The idea is really, as you see, to have an informal morning meetup with partners of ours, potential partners, agencies, digital marketeers, to exchange on ideas. And also, we always try to have a guest speaker with us talking about a very relevant topic that's out there in the market. And then, of course, there's time to have coffee, to have a breakfast all together and kind of open end. And we're also very looking forward to your feedback, see how you like this and how we could do that moving forward. Now, for today, we have the pleasure to have Gloria with us from the Ubank digital marketing team. And she agreed to talk about a very, very important topic with us, something that is out there in the market. Everyone is trying to find a solution. It's about attribution and the attribution chaos, how to deal with it. And I would say stage is yours, Gloria. I'm looking forward to hear on how you tackle the challenge and what you take with it.
Oof. It's always another exercise to be in front of everybody. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming here at the very first Nexoya Breakfast. And I guess it's a perfect setting to talk about something that most of us will face at some point, the marketing attribution, or as I like to call it, or to explain it to my boss, how each platform thinks it deserves the bonus. My name is Gloria Masala. I'm the Digital and Content Marketing Manager at You. I've been working at You since the very first hours, even before it was launched. It was a project at Swissquote at that time. And now it's been there for 5 years almost. And I've been working in marketing for almost 10 years. In terms of the agenda for today, I will quickly introduce to you what is You, a few minutes, and then dive into the challenge that brought us here today and which process we take to resolve it, and of course about our haha or breakthrough moment because it was successful and what we learned beyond the numbers. And then we will end up with a long or short Q&A based on your questions. So about You. You is a Swiss neobank that was founded in 2021. It combined paying, saving, and investing in one simple app. We started from 7 employees, and we are more than 90 employees today, between Gland and Zurich. That's why I have the French accent, because I grew up in Lausanne. And today we have more than 350,000 users. That's how we call our clients and customers. And we have more than 3 billion assets under custody. We became profitable in 2024, yes, which makes us the first neobank in Switzerland and the fastest in Europe to have achieved that milestone. And this is something that we're really proud of. Until recently, we were owned 50% by PostFinance and 50% by Swissquote, but this changed in July when Swissquote bought the half of PostFinance, and now we are 100% owned by Swissquote. But we are still independent, and we are like the little bolder sister of the company. But let's talk about the challenge that brought us here today, and it's not a new one, unfortunately. More than a century ago, John Wanamaker said, half of the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. Fast forward in 2025, almost 2026, we have dashboards, we have endless data, millions of KPIs, and this sentence still hits home. At You, we had a lot of numbers, many numbers, but we didn't have the full picture. And we could see what was happening after a campaign, but not why it happened. So each marketing platforms tell its own success stories, and they rarely match. Meta will say, it's me, and then Google will come, no, it's definitely me. And then we have TikTok who jump into the conversation saying, please, it was clearly me. And then we end up with Google Sheets or a dashboard that looks impressive with a lot of numbers, but the truth is not really there. And the real challenge is that the customer journey has become very complex in the past few years, I will say. Someone may see an ad on Instagram, then hear from us in a podcast, and then decide to open an account a few months or years even later after a Google search. And for us, it's even more trickier because the account opening only happened in the app, and the account is only open after the first banking transfer. And of course, we don't have a tracking tool in the app for security reasons. So that gap makes it even harder for us to evaluate or to see the impact of our marketing efforts when from the campaigns to the final conversion. Most analytical tools treat all of these touch points as they were different people, and that's why we end up optimizing like single signals instead of having the real result at the end. Traditional models like the last click attributions simply can capture the complexity of the customer journey. They oversimplify it. Sometimes they undervalue the importance of awareness and only credit the final click. So at the end, our main challenge was not only attribution, it was a problem of clarity. And in terms of the process, we decided to tackle it step by step and not change everything overnight, because we also know that Rome wasn't built in one day. So our journey started in 2023 already. We started testing the Nexoya AI-driven budget optimization platforms for our social media. So these already help us to spot the performance shift in almost real time. Because we have optimization calls every week, we can see, if we make this change, this will have this impact. And we could also adjust our budget almost immediately instead of waiting at the end of the campaigns when we're analyzing the result and preparing the report. That already changed the game because we moved from reacting late for the next campaign to reacting almost in real time. Next, in 2024, we decided to add a bit of depth into our KPIs by adding the conversions that we were coming from the CRM. And it was more the account openings. We also restructured the way we were setting up our campaigns, and we added this always-on approach. This helped us to link the marketing outcomes to the real business impact. That step also help us to change the conversation internally from talking in terms of marketing campaigns in isolation, but more seeing the outcome of what the marketing will bring into the campaigns and into the business growth, which was really important for us because as a startup, the main goal is to bring new customers. And finally, this year, I guess we started to work in March, April. I'm not sure about the timing exactly. Mm-hmm. We started to test the Nexoya attribution to understand which channels really contributed to the account opening. And finally, we also were able to add SEO campaigns into the optimizations of the budget campaign. And this allowed us to have these, to test the what if scenarios. What if we move the budget 10% or 20% here? What will happen? Over these 3 years, we went from reacting, I would say, slowly after every campaign to predicting a bit more smarter the outcomes of our campaigns. And I will say here's what we learned through this process and our breakthrough moment, or aha moment, I would say. The first lesson is that Nexoya attribution revealed like the big discrepancy between what the platform data was giving us and the reality. We always know that some platform were like not giving the real data, but now we had the numbers. It was factual. Some platform will over-report conversion by 80%, Meta, for example. And other will be undervalued by more than 50%. And for the first time, we could say which channels into our media mix drove the account open. We also discovered, because it's a big topic, because when we work in performance marketing, we say, okay, awareness is not important. We need the lead. But we were able to prove that awareness campaigns weren't wasted money. They were this slow burn investment. Maybe programmatic, social media, even traditional marketing, they build awareness that will convert later into conversion after a search, for example. So awareness is not wasted. It creates the demand, but in the long term. We will talk about it in the next slide. And when we combine all this insight and all this learning into the Nexoya AI optimization budget platforms, the impact was almost immediately visible. Plus, we had like plus 14% uplift in measure account opening over August and September after a few iteration of the calibration model. Proof that the modeling really works and leads to better results. And that's when attribution stopped being theoretical and became the driving measurable growth. In this slide, you can see the comparison between the platform reported data and the Nexoya attribution calibrated data. And it really speaks for itself. The Google Performance Max is often under-attributed, while most other channels are clearly overvalued by their own platforms. What is even more fascinating for us is that the model adapts when the media mix evolves. When campaigns goals shift from awareness to conversion, it also changes. As I said before, when we moved, for example, the Google search campaign will perform much better after an awareness campaign. And when we add a new channel into the mix, for example, when we added the Pinterest into our channel mix, we saw that Google search also performed better. And all of these informations and all of this data help the model to improve over time, and it refines how it understands the true value of each channel. So what we learned beyond the numbers, it's also helped us to change the way that we were collaborating and working internally. We stopped chasing the vanity metrics like video views or impressions, and we started focusing on what truly brings the growth in the business. And the attribution insight gave us or allowed us to have one language of success across all teams, whether it be the brand team, the digital team, and the management. Attribution, in a sense, is no longer a post-mortem tool for us. It has become a planning tool that helps us to shape our marketing plan. For example, for 2026, we use the insight that we learned this year to planify, to plan, to plan our activation in 2026. It also helps us to restructure our campaigns because what we have learned this year, we will implement it next year, and also help us to define, okay, we want to have this always-on approach, but which channels should we really keep in this always-on approach? It doesn't make sense to be always on in every channel. We only kept the best one that performed the best for us. So today's attribution became like our compass, helping us and guiding us through the way. If I had to summarize this 3 years journey in a few points, I would say first, don't settle for surpass level attribution. Messy Google Sheet or beautiful dashboards don't always say the truth. Second, connect your marketing data to the business impact. We should really track what drives growth, not only engagement. Although I come from social media, organic and engagement is everything there. And I will also say that engagement has an impact on the performance, but this we can talk about it later. And the third, be open on new ways to improve your tracking. I was so much focused on asking our IT team, can we have finally an SDK can help us track the account openings? For 4 years, they said no. And I was so happy when Nexoya approached us with this attribution model. They were like, okay, let's try it. And it's not perfect, but we are at least going into the right direction by improving our performance campaigns. And in the end, data doesn't really replace intuition. It helps us to sharpen it. And yeah, I guess I am at the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and let me know if you have any questions.
I have a question about the last thing you mentioned on the slide. Stay open to new ways of attribution. I think that's something within the team. If understand a bit better how it works, like makes sense. But then you have to bring it back to your management, to the data team, and they maybe don't have this modern way of looking at things or are not that open. Maybe do you have a hint or suggestion how this could be tackled from others?
I never stopped. I will talk about it in every meeting. I'm like, well, if I want something, I will never, and it will help us, right? I will prepare the memos, I will do the presentation, I will come with many solutions. At the end, one of them will, work. Even though I still don't have my SDK, I believe that they will have it. But yeah, the management, they don't have really the time to search for the information. So for me, at least in my experience, you have to bring the information and the easiest way for them to do it. So if you bring several solutions, like they can push one of them and one of them will, of course, pass.
I have a question. And you started to optimize your budget first with a social campaign. Why did you decide to do this with the social? Because why not all channels?
Because it's a matter of the politics or how the campaigns or the campaigns are run. We have different teams. For example, the brand teams rely on an agency to do the brand campaigns, and it's still run by them. And as I said, sometimes it's so hard to bring the innovation at once, so you start slowly. And social media was something that I had my hands on, and I was like, okay, let's start with social. And then when we had the results, and we can talk with you, see what we have here. Maybe we should also add your channels, and then you'll improve.
And you also shown that 14% of athletes in almost September Yeah. And did you have any other companies, like offline companies, or was only digital?
We have 2 big campaigns per year, and the second one takes part in July, June. And that's why we were like, okay, now we can see we had this awareness campaign. It was outside also, out of home, TV, etc. And then we saw the change and the importance of the awareness also in the uplift of the conversion.
Thank you. Very interesting, your presentation. Thank you so much. It was nice to listen to you. I have 2 questions. The first one, so I'm a greenfield when it comes to Nexoya, I have to be honest. But is it the way that you push in like 100K, for example, into a campaign, and the platform behind allocates automatically? And is the platform connected to the publishers or vendors, or the platform just says put or allocate this number to this platform, and you have to go to the platform and control it manually? This is my first question. My second one, it's more like a political question. So I'm in a bank as well, and I know the problem. There are so many stakeholders and departments, and everyone wants to defend their own budget, and people are not willing to release the budget to another department, although the algorithm gives a recommendation that the budget would be invested more effectively and more smart in other departments. So how people react in your company if the platform says, please attribute, or it's better to attribute this amount to that channel? So is there any political, not fight, but do you need to defend the thing, or do they take it as ground?
To answer the first one, how it works, usually you create your campaigns on the platform directly. So you define your media mix and your budget. So I will go to Meta, TikTok, and all the platforms say, I want to spend this amount for this campaign. And then we have this first week where the campaign is launched, the algorithm is learning, and then we have a meeting with Francesca, and we go through the optimization proposal, and then we see, okay, does the budget switch between those channels make sense with what we are seeing in the real life? Because it's good to rely on the algorithm, but we still need our critical thinking, as a human, because the algorithm will show something, but you have to dig deeper to say, does it really make sense? Once it is approved, you click on the button approve, and it goes and it changes automatically. So you don't have to do it. Before, Nexoya was going every morning, every Monday morning, like into every platform, into every ad groups, looking into what I could optimize manually. But you will see the platform and not maybe the overall budget, how you can switch it from Meta to TikTok or to Google or to Snapchat. That's the first question. And the second question is something that I'm struggling at the moment. As I said, some branding budget, the brand budget is usually bigger than the digital budget because out of home, TV, and a lot of stuff. And on our side, our marketing budget is the same. We know that in 2024, 2025, 2026, it won't change. So it's a matter of reallocating the budget. So it's a discussion that goes internally. And for example, now I'm talking with the brand team to switch their budget of awareness or a little bit to the digital budget for the awareness also. For example, we were not doing much of YouTube, and we are missing on, some impression and visibility on that platform that everybody's using. And so I made my cases, I made my numbers, and I made a proposition. I went to talk with the brand team and with my manager, and okay, this is what we are missing in terms of opportunity. Should we make a test? Always ask for a test. It's easier. And if the test is concurrent, then you have the budget and you have the confidence of your manager and the team. Okay, here's the impact of what we had. And then it's easier to ask for more.
So from a technical perspective, the thing with that onboarding, I guess we all have the same problem in the finance industry. So you did that change anything technical in the app tracking to be able to attribute the apps new?
No. We don't have, the only tracking tool that is implemented in the app at the moment is Pendo, and it always only helps us to send notification in-app to a certain segment of our clients. But we are not allowed to have any tracking tool like Adjust or something like this in the app. What we do every month, we ask our CRM team to send us the daily account opening. And this data, we share it to Catherine. And since she has all the data from the platforms, the analytics, the CRM, we try to bridge the gap.
So when they come from an ad platform to your landing page, leave the landing page, go to the App Store, open an account, you guys do the matching based on the CRM data you have?
We have one step that redirect on the website. It's the email verification.
You take the emails before you send them to the App Store? No.
You see an ad, you come to the website, you click on download, you go to the app stores. You download the new app, you open the new app, you start to fill the form. At this point, we ask you to confirm your email. Your email links us back to the website. If you do it quickly enough, we can track.
That's how you stitch the users, okay, got it.
But the account is not open.
Yes.
It's just the email validation. And over time, we have calculated the discrepancy between the people that started the account opening process until the final account opening. It's depending on the month, between 10 and 20%, the seasonality.
Okay. Just regarding the question because on your slide you showed that Pmax is undervalued or like under-attributed in terms of, is there then, you probably then added more budget to the Pmax campaign, I guess, and if then was there, because there's a cross-channel campaign with YouTube and display and everything in there, did you then also see changes in the behavior of the Pmax campaign itself, if you did so, and then maybe if there then was suddenly a change to YouTube, did also the numbers change in the overall attribution of the Pmax campaign? Was there anything, or is it still ongoing?
The result of the Pmax here comes from our H1 campaigns. We stopped at 8 at the end of H1, so end of June, and the new one started in August. What happened is, for a certain amount of time, we were not having a lot of conversion in the platform coming from Pmax, and we're like, that's strange, because normally Pmax is supposed to be working, and we're like, why do you have so little conversion coming from Pmax compared to the other one? And then that's how with the calibration and the CRM data, etc., we saw that it was underperforming or underreported because the data were giving to the other, like the search account. But now we are still refining, because YouTube was managed by the branding part, and now we are trying to bring everybody into one account and manage everything under one umbrella, and seeing how the Google networks itself works before adding the other ones also. The other question.
Yeah, I had a question to the attribution slide. Could you find this slide? This one, this one? Yes, yeah. this data are data from Nexoya platform, because I was wondering if the data are from GA4 or from the platform or mixed or
Where it can. Usually we check because we have, since not everything goes through Google Analytics, we check the data from the platforms, the data that we have in their CRM, and we compare them.
okay.
Because since everything is not going up on analytics, we cannot fully rely on those, even though we had it.
Basically, maybe to elaborate on that, what is needed once you have the insights from the attribution, you also want to make it actionable, right? And optimize based on this new insights that you have. And therefore, there's calibration factors or attribution factors that we use to then integrate these insights and make it visible in the tool, and then also base the weekly optimizations on it.
And if maybe I can add on very quickly, what you can see here is really the discrepancy between what the provider reports versus exactly. So from the conversions that the provider reports versus what we can see with the attribution solution of the actual impact of the campaigns on the account creation. So we can kind of see that provider reported conversions versus the conversions that come out of the model of the Nexoya attribution solution. And that's kind of the over and under attribution that we see per platform here.
Sorry, the more it is towards zero rate, it will match, right?
Exactly. So you can see that Meta, for instance, over reports, and we see 37% less conversions or actual account creations happening than Meta would report, for instance.
Okay.
Got it, yeah.
But where the discrepancy comes from, because if Meta, for example, reports 100 and your system shows 150, so the gap, where it comes from, are those people who just cancel the process, who might click on open an account, they land on the landing page, they start the process, but however, for a certain reason, they decide, no, I'm not interested, and they go. So Meta reports as a conversion, but in fact, it's not a conversion. Is this the gap?
I think it's a bit very complex, so that's a bigger topic, but that's the thing that we want to solve, right? Because every platform has its own way of attributing, has its own way of tracking kind of the customer along the customer journey and deciding when conversion happens. So you have platforms that work data-driven, you have GA4 that a lot of the times works last click, and you have so many different solutions, and so you can't really make it comparable. And what we do is we take the CRM data as the base. So really the numbers that match it to you or that match it to Gloria at the end and to your management. And we want to see what the impact is of all the platforms on the actual numbers that you see. And that is what we do with the modeling, right? We use a probabilistic approach to model the impact of all these platforms on the actual data. And that's what we stick.
I'm sure. Sorry, I don't want to dig very deep, but just out of curiosity. So Gloria told us that you needs to have an email address to make the staging. So this could only work if users are actually using the same email address on every platform to do an accurate attribution or no?
For us, no. So for the solution that we run, no. We just need the end numbers that you have in your CRM.
Okay.
So really just the end numbers and of course the platform data, the GA4 data, etc. to help us model this, right?
You guys doing black magic there.
I can talk later.
It's very interesting. Thank you so much.
And to add on that, we don't even track the email address. We just track the people that come on that landing page validation. We don't even track the email address. We are not allowed. we try to visit on this special page validation, and then we compare it with the actual account opening.
That's how it's usually worked, right? But I guess you lose this sanity when switching to the App Store. That's why I don't understand it.
Because you change the universe.
Yeah.
Well, no, the tracking doesn't work from app to app. I mean, if you're on your Instagram, it's an app.
Yeah.
And then you click to go to a website, it's another app because you're going to Safari or Chrome. And then you go to App Store, it's another app. So you're cutting the journey, and then it's hard to reconcile it. But the attribution is helping us.
And you did optimize the campaigns, but which KPIs were for your campaigns? The account opening or?
It depends. It depends on where we are in the funnel. If it's an awareness campaign, of course, we'll still say the reach, the video views, the view times, etc. So we define with Francesca the KPIs for every campaign. The more we are going to the lower funnel, the conversion, we will also check the conversion that we have created server to a server side on the server side tracking. That's what we check on the platform. On each platform, we have this account opening, but it's not really account opening, it's the email validation that we track. Yeah.
Any more questions? Well, then, thank you so much, Gloria. As you can see, there's a big Q&A, which proves that it's a very hot topic, and it's also a difficult topic that maybe also needs some further discussions. So that's why we still have some time. So I would say now we use the time to go outside to maybe have a coffee from our amazing barista, Philip. And there's still food and everything. So you're free to stay here how long you want. We're here for you. And yeah, it's about exchanging on these different topics. And I hope that this session was very insightful for you. And yeah, we're here to answer further questions. Thanks again once for your contribution to the great presentation.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot.